So the Diablo 4 quarterly update of December 2020 has dropped a lot earlier than I thought it was going to. December 2020 drops today, the 15th. I thought it was going to drop right before Christmas or directly after Christmas, but they decided to go smack dab in the middle. I'm excited. Just glancing at the table contents, initially it looks like we're going to be talking about skills tree, going over a little bit more with that, which is something that I talked about in my last video regarding the skills tree, and I would love to learn more about it and go more in depth about the skills of Diablo 4. Primary stats, that's a new topic. I don't think we've talked too much about that. Weapon types, that's another thing. Item qualities, legendary affixes, and uniques. Okay, uniques coming back into the play. Uniques were not a part of Diablo 3. They were a huge part of Diablo 1 and 2, and then they kind of turned them into legendaries. And so now we're going to kind of see what this is all talking about. So they welcome us. This is Luis Barriga. He says, hello and welcome once again to the Diablo 4 quarterly update, our last for 2020. Progress on the game continues at a steady clip, and we're excited about several big updates and revisions that the team's worked on for a long time that we're trying to complete before the holidays. Today's topic centers on one such major revision, which also happens to be the most requested topic this year, itemization. Just like I talked about. Items are the lifeblood of Diablo. They are the element of the game that captures your imagination and keeps you playing and wondering, what if, after you put the game down? 100%. I cannot agree with this anymore. I often ponder back to Diablo 2. I've been playing a lot of Project Diablo 2, and I think about, what if I just did one more run? What if I just did one more MF run? Just went and did, Ancient Tunnels, Hell Mephisto, Hell Diablo, Chaos Sanctuary, etc. What if I just did one more? I could find that awesome item. You can keep tabs on what we're up to on social media, and as always, please tell us what you think of this update on our forums and all of your favorite places to talk Diablo. We're probably hanging out there too, and we'll continue to look out for popular topics to tackle in future blogs. Speaking of which, our next update will take place during BlizzCon Line rather than in blog form. We've read speculation about what it could be and want to ensure you that it is something chunky indeed. Without spoiling the surprise, let's just say it involves a new version of the campfire scene we showed you last BlizzCon. That is a huge hint that they're going to be revealing some classes, at least one new class. So today we're going to look at some changes to items in Diablo 4 and update you on a few things we've shared in our previous development blogs. In deciding what changes to make, we focused on 3 core ideals. First, we want to strengthen class identity by providing intuitive fantasy hooks. Items and skills that lean into the fantasy of your class are best. Okay, I'm eager to learn more about this. That sounds kind of cryptic to me so far, but we'll learn about it in a second. Second, we want to support deeper customization through our itemization. Items should support and enhance your class, not define it. Thank you. Diablo 3 does the worst job at this. Your items literally define your class. Like your items, you get that set item and literally boom, that's it. Finally, we're landing on overall depth somewhere between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. We aim to provide years of things to discover and countless ways to build a class. All right, the skill tree. They're just, looks like they're just kind of getting a little bit of a blurb here talking about it. Since releasing the last quarterly blog post on the skill tree, we've been reviewing all of your feedback. Our team has also had a lot of hands-on time with our skill trees in frequent internal playtests, including an extended progression playtest. Based on this, we're confident that it's a solid direction, so we're going to iterate on it and make further improvements. For example, we're increasing the clustering of related skill nodes so players don't have to go across the tree to find skill upgrades for their builds. Okay, I wish they could have provided a graphic for this. The ability to respecialize or respec your skills is a tricky one to balance. Like many of you, we want choices to matter and characters to feel different from one another, not just one click away from being identical to all the others. In Diablo 4, you will be able to respec your skills and passives. The number of times you can do this will be unlimited, but it won't be free. It will be easy to do when you first start a character. As your character grows, the effort and cost required to respec will grow too. In the end game, changing your build will require a significant investment to appropriately match the time and effort you've put into defining your character. Okay, good. I'm glad it's not going to be just a free respec. Primary stats. In our last blog, we agreed with your feedback that too much of a character's power came from the items they wore, and we liked the imagery conjured by the phrases angelic power and demonic power, but they didn't reinforce the fantasy of what being a barbarian, a sorcerer, or a druid is all about. So we went back to our roots and looked at the classic RPG elements of early Diablo games. What are you really doing when you wade through a horde of monsters and emerge a level higher on the side? You're training. You're practicing a skill. You're getting better at what you do, becoming stronger and smarter. So, stat points. Here we go. After gaining a level, our barbarian has received 5 stat points and 2 skill points to spend. Nice. Oh, I love this. This is true RPG elements here. Back to the roots, man. Add that strength. Let's open this up and take a look. So you can see the barbarian here just leveled up, level 23, blah, 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 and putting some points into strength right here. I love it. I love it so much. When you gain a level, you'll receive points to spend in strength, intelligence, dexterity, or willpower. Okay, so if we look at this image here, skill damage is increased, defense increased, intelligence increases all resistances, willpower increases resource generation and healing received, dexterity increases crit chance and chance to dodge. Okay, cool. And this is looks like the sorceress. I love this. It gives you a little bit more of a granular approach, and you can deep dive into your character's build a little bit better. I like that a lot. Here's where it gets really interesting. Many of the nodes in each class skill tree have additional effects if you meet specific primary stat thresholds. You'll get the baseline effect of these nodes when you spend the skill points to unlock them, but get enough of the corresponding primary stat and the bonus will activate. Okay, let's open this up and take a look. So the whirlwind skill, you're all familiar with whirlwind on a barbarian, and it costs 10 fury per second. You rapidly attack nearby enemies, deals physical damage, etc., etc. But each upgrade, whirlwind no longer slows the barbarian's movement speed while active, but if you hit 150 dex, whirlwind provides a 3% movement speed boost each second while active, stacking up to 15%. That's kind of neat. Whirlwind's critical strike chances increase by 10%. So these are nodes. These are like skill nodes. And when you reach 225 strength and dexterity, whirlwind provides plus 1% critical strike damage per second while active, stacking up to 20%. Okay, cool. I like that. So it encourages you to, you can get sort of a mixture of your build by getting upgrades to your whirlwind skill, but it'll also encourage you to give yourself some upgrades in your actual your primary stats. But let's talk about items. This is the next part of the blog, the quarterly update. This is actually a pretty hefty update. We're only halfway through. I'm excited. As we hinted at in our last blog, we're making substantial changes to core itemization. We'll start by looking at the many different weapons available to classes in Diablo 4. Our weapon types look visually distinct and have meaningful effects on gameplay. We've also done a lot of work in the game engine to make weapons feel more real and physical, like the barbarian carving a trough through the ground with her mace during upheaval. Look at that. That's really cool. I like that a lot. But something was still missing. Wands should be faster than quarterstaves, and swords and maces should do different things. To see what that feels like in action, we've added weapon speeds and inherent characteristics to all our weapons in our latest internal test environment. Let's take a look here. We got a wand, Conjuration Omen, a very fast weapon. Then there's a staff, slow weapon. In general, one-handed weapons excel at letting you attack and reposition quickly, while slower two-handed weapons deal more damage. You can really feel the differences between them. That makes total sense. So you can see the difference between the staff attack and the actual wand attack. You might notice another thing about these items. They're high resolution renders of the actual equipment. In a game like Diablo, icons are important. They often contribute as much to the identity of a cool piece of loot as the in-game representation on your character. Items that don't appear on your character, like rings, are defined by their icons. We've upgraded all of them. That's cool. So this is what the actual weapon is going to look like. They're just high def renders of the item. So when you find a really cool looking legendary item, it's going to show that actual how it looks on the card. All right, item qualities. Here we go. We've also made some exciting changes to the game's item qualities. Philosophically, we like the clarity of analysis afforded by clearly understood item tiers. In other words, we think players of all skill levels benefit from not having to scrutinize every single item that drops to see if it might be an upgrade for them. Blue magic items are good, but yellow rares are usually better. There's a great feeling of progression when you graduate into items with greater complexity, more powerful effects, and cooler looks as you level up. And the game-changing powers found on the legendary items in Diablo 3 are exciting and offer many possible effects that just aren't possible with regular affixes. That said, we don't want to end up in a place where the right decision is to ignore every item that doesn't have a glowing orange skybeam. True. So true. That's kind of what it's come down to. For me, in Diablo 3, yellow, white, and blue items, they have all just become trash. They are literal trash. I go to Adrig and I break everything down into materials that I can use to craft or upgrade something better in my cube. And it's just sad. All these items, all the work that's gone into making these items and making them cool, unique, rare items, etc., they just aren't that way. We're making a lot of exciting changes here. We're increasing the potential power of individual affixes on magic items. We're increasing the maximum number of affixes on rare and better items in the end game. Legendary affixes now roll randomly. Yes, really, on legendary items. And unique items will replace mythics. What? Wait a minute. Magic items can now have the most powerful regular affixes, while rare items get up to 5, and legendary items have 4 regular affixes and 1 legendary affix. But this legendary affix is random. It's a random affix. It's not... Okay, so it's legendary items are just the tier of the item, and they have a random legendary tier. But then there's also unique items. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. I think about how itemization should be done, and this is like the epitome right here, because you have like legendary items aren't going to determine your build. They're not going to decide for you if your build is going to go a certain way. It's just another tier with more powerful affixes on them and 1 legendary affix that's going to be random. So it's not going to be predetermined. So this staff could roll with different legendary affixes than what it's shown here, but it'll just be total random. It's just going to be more powerful. You can think of legendary items as rare items with 1 affix replaced with a legendary effect. These new legendary affixes work just like regular affixes in that they can roll randomly on different items and in different slots. Many can be used by any class, while some are specific to another particular class. So this, see right here, when you stand inside your own damage and ground effects, you increase the damage they deal by 27%. And there's another one right here. Tunic of Perilous Dread. While the legendary affixes are super unique and different, they aren't going to be specific to any one item. So you'll notice a variety of our affixes in the examples above, including elemental resistances and sockets for gems and runes, which can appear in items in place of another affix. And of course, attack comes from your weapons, while defense comes from your armor. With the increase to the maximum number of affixes available on items, we'll also be adding new affixes to the game to make sure there's plenty of diversity. So uniques, here we go. This is new. So there was like the next tier of item was called mythic, and they got rid of that and they went back to their roots and they added unique, so that these items specifically are unique and they will roll uniquely. Let's take, for example, Kilt of the Plaguebringer. This is a unique item. I'm sure that these will be randomized values. You get +1 rank to Hunt of the Week. Your poisons no longer deal damage over time. Instead, 127% of the total damage is dealt to the target when your poisons expire. When Hurricane deals damage, there is a chance to automatically cast Tornado at the target for free. That's super cool. So it looks like a druid weapon. And Mad Wolf's Glee. Poisoned enemies hit by your Lacerate or Thrash instantly deal 25% of the remaining damage to all nearby enemies. Okay, cool. So yeah, these are unique items. These have specific affixes on them. These will not change. These ones, maybe the values will roll differently, but these will be specific to these pieces of armor, weapons, etc. That's really cool. So the next quarterly update will be at BlizzConline, which is taking place in February. I'm super excited about that. It sounds like they're going to be announcing a new class or something. They said there's going to be an update to the campfire scene. And the only thing that goes through my mind is there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 additional classes there for us to look at and gander at. I'm really excited about that. So thanks for tuning in. This has been an update. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and all of the above. And I will see you guys next time.